For 7 days now, Baba Ramdev's fast has been the center of a political storm. But it's the drama and the controversy surrounding the fast that has got more attention than the reason behind it. Baba's massive following would and perhaps did make the center nervous. And it came at a time when everyone from the Supreme Court to the common man on the street wanted action against corruption. But in the last few days, truly, the center has become indifferent to Baba Ramdev. Has too much drama blurred the cause that Baba Ramdev said he was fighting? Has Baba Ramdev's fast actually exerted any real pressure on the government? Will it? Does it have the potential to? With me in the studio is Kumar Ketkar, Chief Editor of the daily Divya Marathi Bhaskar Group. Thank you very much. Hartosh Singh Bal is with us, Political Editor of the Open Magazine. Professor Mahesh Rangarajan of Delhi University, well-known political analyst, is also joined by Nalini Singh, well-known journalist, and Sanjay Kaul, President of People's Action. May I first begin by asking you, Mahesh, what do you make of the way Baba Ramdev's fast has gone, especially in the last few days? And will it exert any real pressure on the core issue?
My sense is that his ability directly to exert pressure has declined, partly because government seems to be slightly clearer on what attitude to take. We saw government going from one extreme, virtually prostrating before him. Even the Congress Sandesh has accepted that it's very unusual to find 4 senior ministers receiving a person at the airport. And then in the other end, to let loose the police in a manner which, as is often the case when police see peaceful protesters, where they were frankly using disproportionate force. But one can only answer this clearly if government demonstrates resolve and clarity in dealing with the issue. It needs to engage with the widest spectrum of opinion possible on these issues so that we are well prepared for the forthcoming parliament session where this can be debated. The widest spectrum rather than just one narrow band of people.
Should Baba Ramdev be included in that spectrum? Will it be difficult for the government to keep excluding him from that spectrum if and when it does decide to carry out these kind of discussions, Mahesh?
No democratic government can exclude anyone who wants to talk to it. At the same time, a democratic government cannot allow one person or group to insist that they have a monopoly on an issue. So if you have, say, the Jan Lokpal bill, it's a very important bill. There are some very fine people who have got together. They have a committee, they have a movement, they have a protest. It has affiliations with Baba Ramdev, but he's not the leader or anything. Of course it should talk to them, but it should engage with a very wide variety of opinion. You know, if you go back and look at the Right to Information Act, it was passed in 2005. The debate on it took something like 9 years. Now, I'm not saying it should take 9 years, but one of the reasons we have a reasonably effective Right to Information Act, it has really made a huge difference in the way files are kept, decisions are taken, meetings are conducted across government, is that there was a possibility of drawing on a lot of positive ideas. And I think we should be fairly clear. No one group, and I'm saying government also should not come across as arrogant. It has to be willing to listen. But this applies also to people in movements. I mean, democracy is about dissent, but it's also about debate. Okay. And debate can only happen if you listen to people and try to persuade them, not by insisting that your view is the only view.
Okay. Kumar Ketkar, do you think he will have a domino effect? Because the government will be worried only if it feels that a movement has domino effect. Anna Hazare's movement had domino effect. And the government was worried about how it was spreading out. What are you making of the response to Baba Ramdev?
In fact, I feel that Ramdev Baba's movement has ruptured the domino effect that was caused by Anna Hazare.
You think so?
I think so, because I think he did not realize himself and his followers, perhaps even in the media, that the migration from yoga to politics was not so easy. And the entire yoga phenomenon that he carried through the media, he, I think, misinterpreted as his direct political support, which was not a political support. In India, there is always a huge tendency among the people to support yogis and sadhus and buas and babas, for perhaps with good intentions, perhaps with naivete or innocence. But point is, he misinterpreted. And I think media, he perhaps saw television channels, or he overestimated his own image, you know, as they say in the image crisis, as I think the extrapolations in personality. He thought that there is that actual larger image, which is his real image. and that I don't think was his real image, and he suddenly has realized that his real image was smaller. So one doesn't have to cut him to size. He himself overestimated his image and got himself cut to size, and I think that was partly because of media, partly because of the hyped character of his campaign, too much of hype. Already the campaign was half hyped when Anna Hazare fast was taking place, and Ramdev Baba thought that it will go further into the space, crossing the gravity barrier. I don't think
it happened. In fact, I found it very interesting what Anna Hazare said. Anna Hazare today said, whatever should be done in terms of humanitarian sentiments, the government should share. He wasn't violently coming out or strongly coming out in support or even assertively coming out in support of Baba Ramdev. Very nuanced, very calm, very measured comments from Anna Hazare. Let me take a third perspective. Nalini Singh, is this tapering off? Is this petering out, or will it stay?
Stay.
Stay.
It will stay because, you're talking about the government prostrating itself. Look at the way television prostrated itself. Look at the way you lionized, you meaning the electronic media especially, lionized him 1 minute and then lampooned him the second minute. Today he's in the ICU. We still cannot help ourselves from lampooning him. But I think that television, which is deepening the divide to use a cliche between Bharat and India, it is assiduously deepening this divide, has totally forgotten that when people went to Anna Hazare, and in the initial stages when they went to Baba Ramdev, this is the very India which is actually churning in malls, with iPods, with holy ringtones, and with anti-corruption banners. So this is the churn that's happening, and it's not just because television you decide that this movement is petering out. I don't think Anna Hazare's is not petering out. Baba Ramdev's is not. And I like what very much I endorse what Mahesh says, that this is incremental, that actually bit by bit the right to information was just a little sand, just a little grain of sand, and slowly and incrementally people gather around it. And so anti-corruption is not going to be forgotten, because we today say, and very correctly, you moved on to other stories, very important stories, so you say that you deem it irrelevant and it will go away. No, I don't think, Arnab, I don't think we actually set the agenda, as was said 20 years ago by a very famous print editor. We don't. And people are setting the agenda, and they are fed up with corruption. Therefore, it's not going to go away.
Okay. I must clarify here, Nalini Singh, at least I don't know about others, neither do we lampoon nor do we lionize, but we report. And I said it very clearly, our job is to report and not to support, and that's the line that we have. Action groups have an important role in crisis situations, in pushing points and pressuring the government. Baba Ramdev is one of them. Hartosh Singh Bal, let me take your perspective. Will it peter out or stay? Nalini Singh says stay. Baba Ramdev.
Look, Arnab, Ramdev himself may peter out, and let me say that Ramdev himself may peter out. Anna Hazare probably will peter out. These personalities are not important. The methods they've used are problematic, but the groundswell against corruption in this present situation is very, very real. And let's just broaden the context. We are suddenly seeing a political mobilization without anybody able to harness it of certain problematic aspects of liberalization. One is the greed that is represented in this corruption in the 2G scams. One is the greed that is represented in land acquisitions. You've seen both these have an electoral impact, one in West Bengal, one in Tamil Nadu, and you will only see this electoral impact deepen over the next few years. Whether any political platform understands this and can relate to it, I certainly don't see the Congress or the BJP making sense of it. So we are probably looking at the possibility of somebody somewhere trying to cobble together an electoral platform on which to carry on this groundswell. It is not going to take place through these fasts and these tamashas that we are seeing around us today.
Okay, Sanjay Kaul, will the government be able to completely ignore? Because response as of now tonight is ignore Baba Ramdev. Congress ignore, government ignore, let whatever is going on in Haridwar and Dehradun happen on its own. In your view, will the government be able to continue to ignore if this fast carries on? Sanjay.
Well, you know, I think we need to make a distinction here. If we are going to make Baba Ramdev the phenomenon or Anna Hazare the phenomenon, then I think we'd be making a serious error. The phenomenon is greater than both of them. They're part of the phenomenon. They may or may not last. They may be there or they may not be there. The important point is to capture that you must capture the mood of the people. The anger, the frustration, the angst, the incremental anger and angst, these are not things that can go away merely because you don't look at them. Part of the problem is that you have not been looking at them. So if you are going to try and imagine that by not attending to the issues that Ramdev has pointed towards or become a sort of a symbol for, then I think you're just setting yourself up for a bigger disaster.
But is he a
The important thing to understand is that your experience tells you that by not attending to it in time, in the manner it should have been, in terms of engagement or in terms of consultation or whatever you may want to call it, you have already made two serious errors of judgment. And not just judgment, you have actually stepped beyond that and made a huge mess of things, to the extent that your ability to make decisions today is severely tainted. You are not above suspicion anymore. Nobody knows whether you are, I'm talking about the government. But nobody knows whether the government has an ace up its sleeve or whether it's completely confused and has absolutely no idea what's going on. This headless chicken attitude of the government, this confused look on its face, is not good for governance. It does not augur well for any of us.
No, but there's a question here is Kumar Ketkar. He says, look at the issue, and if people have identified with Baba Ramdev on the issue, then that should be considered. Have people, I'm simply asking tonight. I think we all saw Anna Hazare's protest and the response. We are seeing this. Have people identified? Is this having a domino effect? The BJP is obviously latching onto it, hoping to capitalize on it. Will that happen?
I think nobody should deny that the existence of corruption and anger and angst of the people is justified. But that doesn't mean that Ramdev Baba personifies that entire anger and will last that anger till the 2014 elections or whenever the elections come before. I think Congress may even get defeated in 2014 or if 2012, whenever the elections come. But that does not mean that the Ramdev Baba phenomenon has necessarily influenced that. People are angry irrespective of Ramdev. People are angry irrespective of Anna Hazare. But the point is whether, your question was very clear, whether Ramdev Baba phenomenon has domino effect or not. I don't think Ramdev Baba phenomenon has domino effect because people are already seeing that it is falling. That there is
is it falling?
I think it is falling.
Is it really falling?
I think it is falling because people are seeing the lot of crap and lot of thuggery in that also. People are also suspecting that integrity of Ramdev Baba. They are not questioning the integrity of Anna Hazare. Let us not mix up Anna Hazare with Ramdev Baba. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that Anna Hazare is all God and sent. Point is Ramdev Baba is not Anna Hazare. Anna Hazare is not Jai Prakash Narayan, and Jai Prakash Narayan is not Mahatma Gandhi. Let us not confuse the.
We're getting rebuts. Let me get Sanjay call first. Then go back to the others. Yes, Sanjay. I see you want to come in.
No, Arnab. We can turn this exactly the other way around. And said it's not about basically people losing faith in Ramdev, it's about people losing faith in government, in the Prime Minister. So I think this preoccupation with Baba Ramdev has to stop.
No, but who's...
And Mr. Ketkar must move on. He has to see this as he has to see the larger picture. And repeatedly talking about Ramdev or whether it's the last or not last, and by the way, this domino effect is the nature of dominoes that one pushes the other. And by the way, dominoes always fall. One falls and sets up the next one to fall. So the falling is not the problem. Let him not worry about Ramdev, passing into oblivion. No concern of his. The important point is the people of India have recognized this to be an issue. They are willing to support anybody. The thing to take from this is, if the people of India are willing to take a yogi on, it doesn't matter whether he's going to fight an election or not. Remember, your Prime Minister didn't fight an election either. And it doesn't matter that he is a yogi or is not a yogi or whether he preaches, he wears a three-piece suit or not. The point is people are willing to follow anybody. Anna Hazare, Ramdev, and if Mr. Ketkar were to take this on tomorrow, I can assure you he'll have hordes of people willing to follow him too.
Okay, individuals don't matter. Mr. Ketkar, you have a right to rebut, but I'm going to Hartosh. One sec, yes. Mahesh.
Nobody in a democracy knows exactly what the people want. The people are heterogeneous. The reality of democracy is diversity. And I want to come back to this point about the JP movement. The JP movement was a vast movement. A lot of the present day leadership of opposition cut their teeth as students in the JP movement. I'm struck by one difference. In the present movement, there is an insistence on a particular model of Lokpal, which according to some critics, and I share that apprehension,